My name is Maya Brooks and I'm 29 years old. 3 months ago, I stood at my wedding reception surrounded by 200 guests while my parents sat at a table in the back corner, faces pale, hands trembling, watching me celebrate with people who actually loved me. They'd driven 6 hours to be there. I hadn't invited them. But here's what made their faces drain of color. It wasn't just that I was happy without them. It was the empty chair at the head table. The place card read Carson Brooks, brother of the bride. The brother they'd spent 20 years choosing over me. The brother who wasn't there because 3 weeks earlier, I'd made a choice that destroyed everything they thought they knew about their perfect son. Before I tell you what I did and why that empty chair represented the end of their entire world, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story speaks to something in you. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is there. Now let me take you back to where this all started. The day my parents told me not to come home because my brother didn't want me there. I was 11 years old the first time my mother said it out loud. We were in the kitchen. I was doing homework at the table. Carson, my older brother by 3 years, was upstairs in his room playing video games. The volume was so loud I could hear explosions through the ceiling. Mom was on the phone with my Aunt Linda. She didn't know I was listening. Carson's just so gifted, she said, leaning against the counter, twirling the phone cord. We're focusing all our energy on him right now. Baseball, tutoring, the travel team. It's expensive, but he's going to get a full scholarship. We know it. A pause while Aunt Linda said something. Why, My mother glanced at me, then turned away. Oh, she's fine. Easy kid. Doesn't need much attention. Honestly, it's a relief. We can't split ourselves in two, you know? Can't split ourselves in two. I was 11. I didn't understand yet what she really meant. We already chose. But I will learn. That summer, Carson made the county select baseball team. My parents threw him a party. A backyard full of people, a cake shaped like a baseball diamond, gifts piled high. I sat on the porch steps and counted. 47 people came to celebrate my brother. 2 months later, I won the district spelling bee. Beat 63 other kids. I came home with a trophy and a certificate. My mother was in the garage, loading Carson's baseball equipment into the car. That's nice, honey, she said without looking up. Put the trophy on your dresser. We're late for Carson's game. No party. No cake. Not even a photograph. I put the trophy on my dresser. A week later, I found it in the donation box in the garage. My mother said it was taking up space. This became the pattern. Carson's achievements were family events. Mine were invisible. When Carson made an honor roll, my father took him to his favorite steakhouse. Just the two of them. Man to man, Dad said. When I made an honor roll, every single quarter for 3 years straight, my mother said, good job, while loading the dishwasher. The summer I turned 13, I saved up babysitting money for 3 months to buy a guitar. I'd been teaching myself from YouTube videos, playing in my room with headphones so I wouldn't disturb anyone. I was good. Really good. My music teacher, Mr. Palmer, said I had natural talent. He wanted me to audition for the school's advanced program. I asked my parents if they'd come to the audition. It was on a Saturday morning. 2 hours. That's all I needed. My father didn't even look up from his newspaper. Carson has a tournament that weekend. We'll be in Pittsburgh. The audition is Saturday morning, I said quietly. The tournament doesn't start until Sunday. We're leaving Friday night, my mother added, pouring coffee. Carson wants to practice on the field before the tournament. Getting familiar with space. I felt something crack inside my chest. So nobody's coming? My father finally looked at me. His face wasn't mean. It was worse. It was indifferent. Maya, we can't be everywhere at once. Carson's baseball is his future. Your guitar is a hobby. A hobby. I made it into the advanced program anyway. Auditioned alone. My music teacher drove me there and back. When I told my parents, my mother said, that's wonderful, sweetie, in the same voice she used to compliment the mailman's new haircut. Carson didn't even know I played guitar. He'd never asked. The real breaking point came when I was 16. Carson was 18, about to graduate. My parents had been planning his graduation party for months. They rented a venue. Hired a caterer. Sent invitations to 150 people. The theme was Carson's Road to Success. A photo timeline of all his achievements, scholarships, awards. I helped set up. Hung streamers. Arranged tables. My mother handed me tasks like I was hired by the staff. The party was on a Saturday in May. That same Saturday I had my junior recital, my first solo guitar performance in front of the school. I'd been preparing for 6 months. It was the biggest moment of my musical life so far. The recital was at 3 p.m. Carson's party started at 6 p.m. I'll come to the party after my recital, I told my parents 2 weeks before. My father frowned. The party starts at 6. The family should be there from the beginning. My recital ends at 5. I can be there by 6:15. Why? My mother's voice had an edge. This is Carson's day. The whole family needs to be there. No exceptions. But it's my recital. Reschedule it. I stared at her. I can't reschedule it. It's the end-of-year showcase. All the advanced students perform the same night. Then you'll have to miss it, my father said flatly. Carson's graduation is more important. The room went silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. You want me to miss my recital, I said slowly, to attend a party? This isn't just a party, my mother snapped. This is your brother's future. He got a full ride to the States. This is a celebration of everything he's accomplished. And what about what I've accomplished? My mother's face hardened. Don't be selfish, Maya. This isn't about you. It was never about me. I went to my recital. Played my heart out. Nailed every note. My music teacher cried. Told me I had a gift. I showed up to Carson's party at 6:47 p.m. My mother pulled me aside the second I walked in. You're late, she hissed. And you embarrassed us. I had a recital. You had a choice, she said coldly. And you chose wrong. She walked away. Didn't speak to me the rest of the night. Carson never even noticed I'd been late. He was too busy accepting congratulations from people who treated him like he'd cured cancer. That night, lying in bed, I realized something that would change everything. They didn't just prefer Carson. They didn't see me at all. I was a shadow in my own family. A supporting character in the story of my brother's greatness. And the worst part? They didn't even feel guilty about it. I got into Berklee College of Music. Full scholarship for guitar performance. One of the most prestigious music schools in the country. Only 30% acceptance rate. I found out on a Tuesday in March. Ran downstairs, acceptance letter in my hand, heart pounding with joy. My parents were in the living room watching TV. I got in, I said breathless. Full scholarship. Berklee. Boston. My mother glanced at the letter, then back at the TV. That's in Boston? Yes. It's one of the best music schools in the world. My father muted the TV. Finally, I thought. Finally, they're paying attention. Maya, we need to talk about this realistically, he said. Music isn't a career. It's a risk. I have a full scholarship. What happens after graduation? He interrupted. You'll be competing with thousands of other musicians for jobs that don't exist. Meanwhile, Carson's graduating this year with a business degree. Real career and real future. I felt the crack in my chest widen. This is my dream. Dreams don't pay bills, my mother said. Maybe you should think about state school. Something practical. Teaching maybe. You could do music on the side. I don't want to do music on the side. I want to be a musician. My father shook his head. We didn't raise you to be unrealistic. They went back to watching TV. I went to Berklee anyway. For 4 years I called home once a month. They never asked about my classes, my performances, my life. Every conversation circled back to Carson. His job, his girlfriend, his apartment, his promotion. I graduated summa cum laude. My parents didn't come to the ceremony. Carson had a work thing that weekend and they went to support him. After graduation I moved to Nashville. Started playing session guitar for recording studios. The work was hard, the pay was inconsistent, but I was building something. Then I met James Crawford. Studio engineer turned producer. Brilliant, kind, obsessed with music the same way I was. We started dating. Within a year we were living together, writing songs, building a life. 2 years later he proposed. I called my parents to tell them. My mother answered. That's wonderful, honey, she said. When's the wedding? We're thinking about next spring. April maybe. Oh. Pause. Carson and Holly just got engaged too. They're planning a fall wedding. Of course they were. That's great, I said carefully. I'm happy for him. You should maybe think about pushing your wedding to summer, my mother suggested. We don't want two family weddings so close together. People will get exhausted. Mom, there's 8 months between fall and spring. Still, it's a lot. And Carson's wedding is going to be big. Holly's father is paying for everything. A country club venue, 300 guests. I closed my eyes. I'm not changing my wedding date. Maya, don't be difficult. I'm not being difficult. I'm getting married in April. Silence. Then my mother sighed. Fine. But don't expect people to come to both. They'll have to choose. They'll have to choose. Just like my parents always had. I sent a save the date 6 months in advance. Included a handwritten note to my parents about how much it would mean to have them there. 3 weeks before the wedding, my mother called. We need to talk about the wedding, she said. Okay. We can't make it. I sat down. The floor felt unsteady. What? Carson's having some issues at work. He's stressed. We think he might need to take a medical leave. We need to be here for him right now. The wedding is one day, Mom. One day. And Carson needs us every day right now. Surely you understand. No, I said quietly. I don't understand. Maya, don't be selfish. Your brother is going through something serious. What's he going through? That's between him and us. So serious you can't tell me, but serious enough to skip your daughter's wedding? My mother's voice turned cold. We're not skipping. We're making a choice. Family comes first. I'm family. Carson needs us more. I hung up. I didn't call back. But here's what I didn't know yet. Carson wasn't going through anything serious. He was fine. And 3 weeks later at my wedding, I would find out exactly why my parents really didn't come. My wedding was perfect. Small. Intimate. 200 people who actually loved me. James's family filled half the seats. Warm, loud, overwhelming in the best way. They'd adopted me the moment we got engaged. My side was smaller. Friends from Nashville. People from Berkeley. My music teacher from high school, Mr. Palmer, who'd driven 12 hours to be there. And my parents. They showed up. I hadn't invited them. I'd stopped speaking to them entirely after that phone call. But 2 hours before the ceremony, they walked into the venue. My mother wore a cream dress. My father looked uncomfortable in his suit. They stood near the entrance, scanning the room like they were lost. James saw them first. Do you want me to ask them to leave? I looked at them. These people who'd spent my entire life making me feel invisible, and felt nothing. Let them stay, I said. But they sit in the back. The ceremony was beautiful. I cried. James cried. His mother sobbed loud enough that people laughed. During the reception, I watched my parents from across the room. They looked small. Out of place. My mother kept glancing at the head table. At the empty chair. The place card read, Carson Brooks, brother of the bride. People noticed. Of course they did. People asked me about it. Where's your brother? James's aunt asked. He couldn't make it, I said simply. Oh, that's too bad. Family is so important. I smiled. Didn't say anything. My parents approached me during dinner. My father cleared his throat. Maya, can we talk? I looked up from my plate. James's hand found mine under the table. Now? I asked. It's important. I stood. We walked to a quiet corner of the venue. My mother spoke first. We're sorry we couldn't be here for the ceremony. You were here for the ceremony. You were in the back row. You know what I mean. We're sorry about what happened before. About saying we wouldn't come. I waited. My father shifted his weight. We wanted to explain. About Carson. I don't need an explanation. He's in trouble, my mother blurted out. Serious trouble. He's going to need your help. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. What kind of trouble? My father looked around, making sure no one was listening. He made some mistakes at work. Financial mistakes. He's being investigated. Investigated for what? Embezzlement, my mother whispered. He took money from his company. A lot of money. He thought he could pay it back before anyone noticed. I stared at them. How much? $270,000. The room tilted. He's going to need a lawyer, my father continued. A good one. We've talked to a few and they're saying it could cost upwards of $100,000 just for the defense. Why are you telling me this? My mother reached for my hand. I pulled away. Because we need your help, she said. We're tapped out. We used everything to pay for Carson's wedding. The house needs repairs we've been putting off. We don't have that kind of money. And you think I do? You're doing well, my father said. James is successful. His family has money. We thought maybe I'd give you $100,000 to bail out the brother who didn't even come to my wedding? Silence. Where is Carson? I asked quietly. Why isn't he here asking me himself? My mother's face crumpled. He's embarrassed. He didn't want to face you. Didn't want to face me, I repeated. Or didn't want to be here? No answer. And that's when it clicked. You told him not to come, I said slowly. Didn't you? My father looked away. You told him not to come to my wedding because you were planning to ask me for money, and you didn't want him here to complicate things. Maya, it's not that simple. Did you even tell him about the wedding? My mother's silence was enough. I laughed. Actually, I laughed. The sound felt foreign in my throat. You told me my brother was too stressed to come. Too busy dealing with his problems. But really, you just didn't want him here because it would make your plan harder. We were trying to protect him. Protect him. My voice rose. People were starting to look. You've spent my entire life protecting him. Choosing him. Putting him first. And now you want me to pay for his mistakes. He's your brother, my mother said desperately. Family helps family. Family helps family, I repeated. Where was my family when I needed help? Where were you when I had a recital? When I graduated? When did I get engaged? Where was Carson at my wedding? This is different. No, I said. It's exactly the same. You want something from me. Finally, after 29 years of not needing me, not seeing me, not choosing me, now you want something. My father's face hardened. If you don't help him, he could go to prison. That's not my problem. He's your brother. He's a stranger who happens to share my DNA. I turned to walk away. My mother grabbed my arm. Please, Maya. Please. We're begging you. I looked at her hand on my arm. Looked at her face, desperate, panicked. For 29 years I'd wanted them to need me. Now that they did, I felt absolutely nothing. Let go of me, I said quietly. She did. I walked back to my table. James stood up immediately. Everything okay? Perfect, I said. I looked across the room at my parents standing alone in the corner. Then I looked at the empty chair at the head table. And I smiled. 3 days after the wedding, my mother called 17 times. I didn't answer. She left voicemails. Each one more desperate than the last. Maya, please. Carson needs you. We all need you. I know we haven't been perfect, but family forgives. If you don't help, he'll go to prison. Can you live with that? I deleted every single one. My father sent emails. Long ones. Explaining how they'd always loved me, always wanted the best for me, how they were sorry if I ever felt overlooked. Sorry if you felt overlooked. Not sorry for overlooking me. Sorry if I felt it. I didn't respond. 2 weeks after the wedding, my Aunt Linda called. The same Aunt Linda my mother had talked to all those years ago. Your mother told me what's happening with Carson, she said carefully. She's devastated. Good. Pause. Maya, I know they weren't always fair to you. They were never fair to me. I know. I saw it. I should have said something. But Carson is still your brother. He made a mistake. He stole almost $300,000, Aunt Linda. That's not a mistake. That's a crime. He's scared. He's asking for you. Now he is. Where was he for the last 29 years? I'm not giving them money, I said. Not a dollar. What if he goes to prison? Then he goes to prison. I hung up. The guilt tried to creep in. Late at night, lying next to James, I'd think about Carson. About the brother I'd grown up with. The one who'd never noticed me but who'd also never been cruel. He'd just been absent. Was I punishing him for our parents' choices? Then I'd remember the empty chair at my wedding. The recital they'd made me miss. The trophy in the donation box. 29 years of being invisible. And the guilt would fade. 1 month after the wedding, Carson called me himself. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Maya. His voice was hoarse. It's me. I know. I need to talk to you. About everything. Okay. Not on the phone. Can we meet? Somewhere neutral. Just you and me. I thought about it. Fine. Coffee. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. The Grind on 5th Street. I'll be there. He was already sitting at a corner table when I arrived. He looked terrible, unshaven, circles under his eyes, hands wrapped around a coffee cup like it was the only thing keeping him upright. I sat down across from him. Thanks for coming, he said. I didn't respond. He took a breath. I'm sorry. For everything. For not being there. For not being a brother. Okay. I didn't know how bad it was. With Mom and Dad. How they treated you. I was so focused on my own stuff I never noticed. I know. You deserved better. I know that too. He flinched. I'm not asking for money. I know you think that's why I wanted to meet, but it's not. I needed you to know I'm sorry. I studied his face. He looked sincere and broken. What's going to happen to you? I asked. Probably prison. My lawyer says we might be able to plead down to 3 years if I cooperate. Pay back as much as I can. Can you pay it back? Some of it. Not all. Mom and Dad don't have it. Holly left me. Took everything that was hers. He laughed bitterly. Turns out people don't stick around when you're a criminal. Turns out. We sat in silence. I don't expect you to forgive me, Carson said finally. I don't even expect you to care. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. Everything they did. Everything I didn't do. And I'm sorry. I wanted to feel something. Bigger. Satisfaction or victory. But I just felt tired. I'm not giving you money, I said. I know. And I'm not going to advocate for you. If they ask me to write a letter to the judge or testify on your behalf, the answer is no. I know. You're going to have to face this alone. The same way I faced everything alone. He nodded. I know. I stood up. Maya, he said. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. The music thing. The wedding. James. Your life. I never told you, but I'm proud of you. I looked at him, my brother who'd been a stranger my whole life, and felt the smallest crack in the ice around my heart. Thank you, I said quietly. Then I walked out. I haven't spoken to my parents since the wedding. They tried for a while, calls, emails showing up at our apartment. James threatened to call the police. They stopped. Carson pleaded guilty 3 months ago. Got 4 years. He's in a minimum security facility in Pennsylvania. He sends letters sometimes. Short ones. Apologies mostly. Updates about his life inside. I read them. Don't respond. But I read them. My mother sent me a letter last week. Handwritten. 6 pages. She talked about regret. About how she'd failed me. About how she wished she could go back and do it all differently. She said she understood if I never forgave her. He said she loved me anyway. I put the letter in a drawer. Haven't decided what to do with it yet. People ask me if I feel guilty. If I regret not helping Carson. If I wish I'd done things differently. The answer is no. I don't feel guilty for protecting myself. I don't feel guilty for refusing to save someone who never noticed I was drowning. And I don't feel guilty for choosing my own happiness over their expectations. For the first time in my life, I'm not invisible. I'm seen. By James. By his family. By the people who chose to love me. And that empty chair at my wedding? It wasn't sad. It was honest. It was the truth my family never wanted to face. Some people don't deserve a seat at your table. Even if they're blood. Especially if they're blood. If you've ever been the invisible one in your family, if you've ever been the afterthought, the backup plan, the one they only called when they needed something, leave a comment. Tell me your story. You're not alone. And if this story meant something to you, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more stories about people who finally chose themselves. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't forgive. It's a walk away. And never look back.